What's up? I'm bringing back another video. I don't know if this is going to be a series or if this is going to be short. I have zero idea. But, like, it was supposed to be called, like, Dead End, Gaiden. You know, I didn't really read the whole title. My bad. And the font's kind of hard to see. That's my bad. But, I just saw it's free. So, I was like, oh, okay, free. You know, and I know the available a little bit, you know. So, I've been meaning to get into some of the more games. And this just happened to come out literally the day I was planning on recording anyway. So, I was like, okay. I was like, I'll just record this instead. Because I didn't know what to record really before. But I was like, I'll just record this. Anyway, let's start. I tell you that's not that we have free time. It's just that we're on standby. She slides up to me. True. Canxue can probably handle just about any situation. It's frustrating to admit, but she's much more dependable than I am. I guess I just want her to depend on me too, just like she used to. But that's pretty minor gripe to have in Gwyn Skeldines, right? She leans in close. When the sound of the door opened, it makes us both jaw up tight. Come think of it, maybe the sound from a minute ago was a knock on the door. Lisette, watch out behind you. Ooh. She whacks Lisette squarely over the head. This is Lee Canxue. I feel like I think they speak Japanese, but their names feel slightly Chinese. But I don't really know too much when it comes to Chinese and Japanese, but it does sound more Japanese. I could be 100% wrong though. She's a roommate and the only special welfare trooper besides Lisette and me. She's also the first friend Lisette and I have ever made besides each other. Since Lisette is my girlfriend, it could be said that Canxue is in fact my first real friend. Okay, I just thought it was just one of those things. I didn't really think they were actually together. Commander Kinnison, the first commander of the temporary special welfare trooper unit, which consists of just the three of us. Special welfare trooper unit is to remain on standby. This is Commander Kinnison. Commander Kinnison is the only person I've ever met who can keep his cool while talking with Lisette. That's what the UFE staff department decided. Lisette laughs merely. We haven't even started yet. That kind of rest would think will only last until the battle starts, even if it's just megalomaniacal delusions. Commander's words bitter and scathing. That doesn't apply to UFF. I don't know if the stock price and military prices are on the rise. Not that suspension will matter if you get wiped out. The media has been engaged to report on the war against aliens. There are reporters everywhere. The military accepts your presence since it's good for propaganda. It's like none of them realize the Earth is on the verge of ruin. You say that, but your homeland is just blindly optimistic. There's no evidence of the moon's autonomous government publicly eradicating citizens. Less than 30% of the population eradicated independently. Canxue, who was reaching from the moon, smiles bitterly. The Independence Party's approval rate dropped from 59% to 32%. Meanwhile, the Autonomy Expansion's Party's ratings went up from 32% to 62%. They say that in times like these, they have to rely on oath. The more Canxue hears, the more bitter Bespection becomes. But that deluded faith of theirs is based on the planned military operation. Commander Kinnison gives the operation a cue. Malaya holographic model of the Earth appears in Central HQ room. Beyond the moon's orbit, 3 space fleets have been deployed, each belong to a different country. Kenji's right, large vessels from different countries are all gathered in the Central Fleet. The battle in Mars orbit taught the United Earth Forces a brutal lesson. The separate countries have now reunified the armies underneath a single chain of command now. The enemy's invasion has continued unabated, and there were no attempts at communication. Conflict is unavoidable. If mankind doesn't unite as one, the tragedy of Mars will repeat itself. This will be the first interstellar war in mankind's history. They will remain true, even if in truth there's nothing more than a patchwork army. I can't quite believe it either. They're using the newest, most advanced Chinese and American spaceships as mere decoys. But if Lisette sees it that way, then it must be the truth. Correct. The smart units exploring the left and right of the Central Fleet have disabled all of their communications, making sure to go entirely dark. 2 fleets flanking the Central one are displayed in blue. They're likely powered down in order to avoid detection.
CC を起動爆雷と投射爆雷の作る濃密な拡散円で包み込むのですわね。
These types of ordnance are the most frequently used weapons of space warfare. Missiles are self-propelled, while theirs are fired from spaceship's cannons. These missiles follow the same basic concept found in other munitions from Earth's history. By exploding, they release huge bursts of sharpness that slice through their targets. The difference is that the outer space has no atmosphere layer to no gravity. That means the sharpener won't lose its momentum over distance time because these weapons are far deadlier than their atmospheric counterparts. The plan is to lure the enemy into a single area so that they can bombard by ordnance from all directions. The CC have no armor. An analysis of the first infantry gathered shows that their bodies consist of soft tissues. The staff department believes that sharpener was more than sufficient to tear them apart. CC. Cosmic Cendarians, or CC for short, our enemies. Lisette, stay out of your mental commentary. I'm the narrator. They may show overwhelming power that mankind has been forced to settle in differences and unite to counter this threat. And that about sums up the situation. An enemy that manages to break through the depth charges should still be damaged and crippled. The main force was used contrary fire with their lasers to finish them off. Commander King is a credible man. He just keeps talking, never daunted by anything anyone around him says.
僕らに任せりゃ昼寝してる間に終わるのに。いかがわしいからですわ。どこが？私たちの出自が。そうですね。
I have to agree with Canxue's words, as much as I dislike them.
魔法少女といえばさ、怪しげな妖精の国からやってきた可愛い妖精に力をもらうのが常識じゃん。
Superpowers is definitely strange, but it's also not cute in the slightest.
私たちは魔法少女というよりは、あなた好みの表現を借りれば悪の組織に誘拐されて。
I skipped that accent. That was my bad. I'm sorry. Your pre-express report, yeah.
軍という植物的かつ現実的な組織で出世してきた方々にとってはいかがわしいことに変わりありませんので。
So are they all magical girls? Is the main character a magical girl? I just assumed the main character was a guy. Because that's what it seems like. And then those two, and it just seems like it's the if they're all magical girls, so is the main character a girl? That's the truth I have to agree with. I mean, what gave us magical girls, or why especially with the troopers our powers is, I'm assuming, main character magical girl too. Back then, the three of us were assigned to the UFA training facility at Dimmish Base. At the moment, we were aboard a 398 shuttle, undertaking a training mission that doubled as a debris removal detail. We ran into a lot of complications, but Canxue and I somehow finished all of our tasks successfully. We called back to base to report we finished our mission, but despite making repeated transmission, we got no response. Lisette's immediate reaction was to make a huge fuss. At the time, interplanetary blob had gone missing on its voyage home for unknown reasons. Next to me, focused attention on it, everyone was talking about it. On top of that, due to our precision army, we all knew of more disappearances around the asteroid belt, and that larger village had been dispatched to investigate. I also heard that the fleet station as both Phobos and Deimos bases were officially integrated into the UEF. Lisette said. But in contrast to the assignment, I only feel apprehensive. Aliens? I couldn't bring myself to believe that. Canxue said. That was one heck of a statement to make it ever said, but it at least felt more plausible than aliens. But still, we were candidates to training, so I thought such matters didn't have to do with us. Lisette really wanted to be in our business though. So when we lost communication with the Deimos base, I didn't assume that it was a result of mankind's first contact, or rather hostile contact with alien life forms. But whatever the case, we were in a desperate situation. The 398 settler we were on wasn't capable of interplanetary cruise and no land on Mars. Mars and Circe stood directly between us and the Phobos and Deimos base. While we could see the planet surface, we were not on the opposite side of Mars' developed regions. So long as we stayed within Mars' shadow, no one would ever realize we were here. The pair of our situation was becoming clear. We didn't know what would happen to the interplanetary bases. Nor could we make it to the vicinity of Earth since the 398 settler lacked interplanetary cruising ability. In other words, our only choice was to return to either the Phobos or the Deimos base on our own, despite not knowing what their status were. Lisette punched her fist at the wall for no particular reason. She really was excited. When she was later, she always kick out walls and Shraskins after watching an action movie she liked. She really hasn't changed from back then. I whispered to myself that if I was Lisette, I wouldn't even mind that fate. She was definitely the least enthused of us three. Still, I used it to still help distract me from my anxiety. some part situation got progressing more serious. Since we were part of the army, we weren't supposed to send up a radio transmission without approval. Here with HQ failed to respond as we had no choice. The site of Mars hosts a few smart bases as well as observations, terraforming the lab facilities. We tried to hear all of them, but just like with our base, we wouldn't get a response. Eventually, however, we did receive one transmission, a critical one at that. We are under attack, requesting existence. The rest of the transmission cut off before taking us any photo. We didn't know where the transmission came from, but it was probably someone on this side of Mars, and in other words, the surface was under attack. Lisette continuing to throw punch at the wall for no reason. There's a wise decision. Canxue always remains sensible. Although our 398 shuttle couldn't cruise between planets, but it did have 10 days worth of food and water in case of emergencies. If you're watching it actively, you could probably stretch that to 20. We'll use that time to slowly retreat to save for less active sector space, like a silver and oxygen energy. We'll send out the distress signal and wait for help. She just wants to get into a fight. That's all she wants to do. Yeah, I know, Lisette. You want to attack the situation head on. As long as you tried, all those words you said, other than charge, came across shortly for that. I would have loved to agree with Lisette, but I didn't realize Canxue's opinion was the more valid one here. I suggest that we approach a point where we'll clearly visible by the demos and forward bases after staying there for a while we begin our retreat. When she said it like that, I feel inclined to agree for. Canxue gave me a pat on the shoulder. I couldn't ignore without thinking too hard about it. And so, we ended up going with my compromise of a plan. If only I had known what would have come next, I would have gone with Canxue's suggestion without a second thought. We were captured by the CC. No, this was before they were given that destination. We were captured by the aliens. The 398 shuttle we were on was 15 minutes away from the point where we will be observable from the forward base. It was then that they appeared from behind Mars' shadow. This was our first glimpse of the invaders. It looked like a small planet or a massive creature. I couldn't say which. The cavity had cinder glowed a strange blue color. I suggested that this might have somehow screwed with our sensors, or maybe that it was just some kind of illusion. Like a background now, the CC might have protected itself from sensors using the same power that we do in order to turn automatic goals. I mean, it's a special warfare troopers. We could see with our bare eyes, but our electronic devices were blind to it. Perhaps there was some kind of charismatic unique to RCC. This is probably the reason why all the spaceports over to Mars were destroyed before they could send out a single distress signal. Right? That's just Invincible, a ship from a work of fiction. The protagonist, the Invincible superhuman Glacier, pilots the spaceship. Every episode, Glacier gets in trouble, only to cry out, "Don't underestimate us Earthlings," before transforming into an Invincible superhuman. Sadly though, that's a fiction series. Even though that charge head force would be regular still, she seems pretty cool when she was so decisively shot her stupid idea. Like for no little choice, I tried to grab Lisette away from the controls from behind, but by the time Canxue began maneuvering the shuttle escape, it was already too late. They had no way to notice the presence of our 398 shuttle. Multiple disguised and flying creatures were always pursuing us. Unlike us, they can move freely through space. They will rapidly catching up at us at this rate. Freeing the ship from my grasp, Lisette suddenly overrode the autopilot, taking normal mini control to shuttle with haphazard maneuvers. Extremely powerful G-forces linked our bodies at the view through our window spun rapidly. Lisette held on tight to the pendant dagger from my neck. The plume of our dresses squarely hit one of the aliens chasing us. I cheered reflexively, Lisette said proudly. It's not that simple. Had she slain the CC at this point, it would have been the very first casualty mankind inflicted upon the CC. I shall unfortunately find out the aliens were some harm. I sure it may have been relatively small, but our dresses were still moving in jet engines. That the alien could take a burst of hard exhaustion to the face without being harmed was terrifying. No kidding. Before we could worry about any aliens though, we had to worry about ourselves. Canxue was struggling to gain control of the shuttle, but valiant efforts were in vain. The 390 ship was confronted by what was either the enemy spaceship or stronger. Whichever it was huge either way, and we were plummeting towards it. We could see it spinning towards us. I thought back to home, to my mother. When I left, she sighed and wondered just why a clumsy oaf like me was becoming a soldier. When she concluded it was my bad friend's fault, I got mad at her for insulting Lisette and stormed out of the house. That was the last time I saw her. When I was busy with field exercise on the moon's surface and I to go home, Mom passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage. I didn't go to a funeral. Mom, I may have been a bad daughter, but Lisette was never a bad friend to me. She's my girlfriend. Hey, so we are playing as a girl. I assume so, because they were hinting at magical girls and that the main character is a magical girl herself. And you know, magical girls are, magical girls. So. Never mind, I thought I could see Mom break into a body smile. You poor thing, she said to me. That was when I realized that I must be going crazy. I was trying to talk to dead people already. Too powerful thuds echoed through the shell, each to either side. I could see what looked like suction cups sticking through the portholes. Things began cooling around the shuttle, using their tendrils to destroy it from the outside. Oh, we're done for. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I don't really know what I'm apologizing for anymore, but I'm sorry. But just as that thought crossed my mind, the defiant crashing sound. God dang it. The more I realized that tankers were keeping to the shut's interior, the three of us were blasted into the vacuum of space. Thank for my seats, we lose our sense of direction and we hurled towards the giant enemy. I pushed our thrusters built in our ship chutes. Well, woefully acquainted for the sisters, we had no choice of escaping. As three of us fled towards our fate, all we could do was look at one another. I was so comfortable with that we went alone. Gradually approached the surface. The blue light filling the countless holes thoughts in the enemy's core turned out to be a tube-like tentacle up close. Countless pliant tendrils extending from the inside them like webs, grabbing onto us and dragging us down to the surface. The sight resembled a jockey's drug introduced hallucination, a multicolored fear, psychedelic, even to think that such a colorful spectrum could exist in real life. That was my final thought before the tankers completely engulfed us. Lisette, Circe, we should probably prepare for the worst. Canxue's voice was tense. It was clear that she was trying to suppress the terror she felt. That wasn't what she was talking about. I understood why Canxue had forced those words out. Already I could see 10 bodies, no, 10 people's worth of crushed remains. They had been torn apart to the point of being utterly robbed of their humanity dignity. They were at the point where it was difficult to recognize them as corpses. Limbs were bent into unnatural angles and torsos were torn apart. It was always that gruesome and brutal ending which awaited us. We were going to be ripped to shreds. Apparently, the pirates of oil were provided suicide capsules. If I had one right now, I would have swallowed without thinking twice. Fortunately, I had no such way of ending my life. Other stories say that you could bite your tongue to kill yourself, but unnecessarily even that would take far too long. But we had known what was coming next. We, at least, Canxue and I would have surely tried to kill us or somehow. The tankers put hold on us. I could hear the sound of bones cracking and tendons tearing. I can still do this. Such always prevails. The commercial break hasn't even come on yet. Even Lisette, despite her optimistic darkness of words war, was clearly audible in her pain. Oh, Lisette, you can feel pain? Given how crazy you act every day, I really was starting to doubt that you know so wide properly. Canxue's own sarcasm reminds her of a forensic undertone to him. I wish I could crack jokes like they were, but I lack the presence of mind to do so. Sure, they won't do much better, but that was to separate them from me. Just then I heard an ominous metallic screeching from my spacesuit joints. Oh no. A bone-deep chill penetrated my spacesuit. Circe! I knew I was gonna die here, but I'd be dying with Lisette. We weren't born at the same time. I came out 30 minutes early from all. You know, but at least we're dying to get started together. The thought floated through my agonized mind. Okay, let's get check that. It made me want to cry. It did comfort me later, but I wanted to save Lisette. At the same time, I didn't want her to share a future with someone else. Ugly of me, yes, wasn't it? But that was the thought going through my mind. That was when it happened. Lisette. I repeated her name in my mind like a prayer. Even you can't get out of this. I'm done for it. Too. But Lisette, Circe, I'm glad I got to meet you. I'm a hero. I'll fix it somehow. This can't be. I can't die here. No all the pain and suffering. Lisette stayed who she was until the very end. That made me all happy. I could feel tears roll up in my eyes. Maybe that's why it looked like Lisette's body was glowing. If I'm a real hero, I'll awaken to my power here and transform. I'll wear a holy white outfit, pull out this cursed sword, and cut these sons of to pieces. I'm assuming part of me feels okay. I'm confused because they're magical ghosts, but I'm assuming they weren't magical ghosts until this moment, because it kind of seems like it's going that route. Yeah, that's the kind of escapism Lisette would have. Lisette steady away yawned to the very final moment, lived longer than me, if only just for a few moments. It didn't look that would happen though. A thick tentacle grabbed Lisette's helmet, squeezing like a vice. I could see cracks below and across her visor. I squeezed my eyes shut. I didn't want to see the moment Lisette's head burst. I wanted my last memory of my beloved Lisette to be the image of a dignified and impressive girl. Whimsical, played for a bit silly, but always funny. She was everything to me. Something's coming. Let's go. What? I couldn't stop myself from opening my eyes. What was this? My field of vision was filled with white. I find myself crying out. It couldn't be. Surely this was just some dream of my mind conjured up to offer me refuge from the pain. Lisette just transformed into a holy warrior before my very eyes. Just thinking of the face holy warrior seems almost laughable now. But at the moment, that's how she appeared to me. The takers tried to call around Lisette, but she gracefully evaded them. Even when they closed in on her, she produced a sort of light of glowing white light with a shrink after shrink just slashed right through them. She was awesome, breathtaking. I found myself forgetting my pain as I stared at her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was sure there was no way I could even do such thing, but Lisette said if I could, she told me that we could do it together. I born her image to my daughter. She looks so cool. I feel my eyes before, feel my emotions boil over. I want to be like that. I want to look just like her. I desperately wish for those things. Lisette extended her hand to me. I reached out for him with all my strength. And the moment our fingers touched together, a new resolve flowered within me. I could do it if I was with Lisette. Fire flared up from my belly. The insistent heat shot through me until my entire body burned so hard I feel I still I'd melt. The light overflowed and emitted from my body. The light swirled over my extended arm, turned into a holy outfit much like Lisette's. I did it. I transformed too. Fingers tight, hold on me slack, and I had to skip them as easy as breathing, as if it was my second nature. I hear Lisette's voice echoing directly in my mind. I nodded in agreement. Even if this was an illusion, I no longer cared anything as long as I could stay with Lisette. I almost forgotten about Canxue, who still remained in the Tinker's grasp. The Tinker seemed confused by the strange situation, because the tensions and prisons seemed her body will always come loose. However, that alone would not save her. Her body remained broken and profusely bleeding. In other words, Lisette thought Canxue probably couldn't. I always found a way of blindly believing whatever Lisette said. Canxue was smart though and wasn't as gullible as I was. Lisette suddenly rushed up to Canxue with a slash of a shining sword. Lisette severed the pipe connecting Canxue's oxygen tank to her helmet. What? The water vapor within the helmet forced all at once, blown out into space at a glint in the mist. At first I thought Lisette was simply granting Canxue a mercy killing. If she truly was though, she wouldn't do it with such a statement. Despite her only accepting of a fate, Canxue's eyes now flare up with anger. There was no way she could do it. Do you think this was how I would see my friend breathe her last? It was then a red light invaded Canxue's body. Couldn't be. Something like glowing veil formed around her, appearing in layers as it took form. Its layers surrounded her body again and again until they also formed a red gothic style dress. She did it! She did indeed, but how? Three of us floated above the sea of wooden tigers, each clad in a particular outfit. Even as she spoke of us, Lisette shrunk a white sword to cut down the tankers headed our way. Can I really? but even as I doubted myself.
剣はね、手の先からジャキーンと飛び出させる感じで、ズバッと切るぞ、切っちゃうって感じでできる。手の延長っていうか、こういう風。
The white sword that extended from my hand shone even brighter, showing up at an even larger size. The hook was sword that was easy the size of a person. I tried to do the same. If Lisette I could do it, then that meant I could do it. I could feel power gather in my hands, and then my fingers lit up, like saying that lion weapon. I recalled an old museum from my hometown. It was an old noble's estate that reeked of old age. I saw a large spear there. Its head wasn't just a simple point, it also had a scythe-like blade attached perpendicular to the shaft. A pony was meant for use against mounted knights, pouring them from their horses. The spitting image of that very same spirit was not manifested in my hands. I cracked a wide smile. That hadn't been just a clerk, but the museum's curator. Still, the fact that Lisette remembered the moment too made me happy. I swung it at the approaching sinkers. I cut them down with no resistance whatsoever. Just think about going where I want to go. I wished in my mind to go up. Next moment, I feel my body levitate as I ascended. Three of us flew up, escaping the sea of tentacles. The giant enemy grew smaller and smaller in our vision as we gained distance. We got away. It was just a strange feeling. It was hard to believe that only minutes ago, dusty anchors had been tearing through our spacesuits. Canxue was quick on the uptake. She followed us, now calm and collected. Honestly, I thought she'd be in far more disbelief. I do like this music though. This is actually a really good song. Music by you. With a pop, a teddy suddenly appeared in the space just above her head. Jibber's eyes flared up in red light. A moment later, red laser being blasted out from them, nearly taking off Lisette's tail. I can't help but feel that there was some kind of wooden theme between Canxue's dress and her teddy bear. Did she really have such great taste? Maybe her room was actually full of such things. I asked her about it. Seeing to become so flushed was a pleasant surprise. The special round cheers popped again and again. 5 more cherry pills joined the force, bringing the total up to 6. But just as I was about to ask which one was which, 5 flying emus came flying in hot pursuit, intending to stop us from escaping. So I'm assuming you know, Lisette and Circe are probably more closer range types, while Canxue is more of a range type. Even before she finished speaking, Lisette was always swooping towards them. I hurried to follow her in the wake. 6 red leeches shot past us, converging on 3 of the enemies with pinpoint accuracy. Lisette and I hit the aliens about the same time. I almost feared the enemy was panicking as it faced its first counterattack from mankind. With strings of our weapons, we easily dispatched the creatures in moments. That was the first victory mankind scored against the invaders. And so our existence was heralded as a revolutionary discovery, but at the same time we were also seen as incomprehensible and suspicious presence. We don't want to have produced any kind of results as such that should be acknowledged and put into use. That's my sense at least. It's strange, I can somehow feel the frustration in his words from having his opinion discarded. In the eyes of those stubborn fools, you 3 are an unplanned development that came out of nowhere. Right now, you're getting in the way of their plans. On the off chance you do equip and decide to blow the enemy, all of the funds they invested in facility built would have been for none. So I had to stop for a minute because I didn't think Circe speaks. I don't know if she spoke at the beginning, but it's mostly been just like kind of silent, and she hasn't. Seems like she has to speak, but she actually does speak. I didn't know that. I must not really pay attention at the beginning. Precisely. I don't know what kind of deal he made with the top brass, but it seems that in exchange for being allowed to form a unit, we've been told to stay clear of the fighting. We've been stationed away from the battlefield on the orbital base of Circe Earth. Even if we deploy right away, we won't make it before the first shots fired. I'll do something. I just realized something. Save. It's a collate save, dude. Oh. And then I wanna go back here. I'm just gonna go back here for really quick. I just realized something. Sense. Okay, I thought so. You don't see her face at all. But I thought there was one area where you would see her face. And it would be right here. Cause you see these and then you got her, so you can see her face slightly. And then you got these, which I'm assuming more. So alright, let's go back. So I just realized that's what she would look like. I don't know if it's gonna show an image of it at all, but that seemed like the most theme. So we've been 6 far away from the battlefield and over the base of Circe Earth. Even if we deploy right away, okay, push shots fired.
そもそもさ、無理だと思うけど、ザコとは戦えるにしても、あのでっかいのはどうすんの?
She's unfortunate, got just an enemy we got power. For now, it's been this designated Radon's eye. Radon was an aloof, shoeless artist dating from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. His book depicts all sorts of monstrosities. One of them is a gigantic floating eyeball which looks similar to the giant alien. They're used their special weapon. The reactor warhead, it's only been used 5 times in history because of how utterly destructive it is. It is mankind's ultimate weapon.
Oh, 核兵器か! でもさ、大抵の場合、効果ないんだよね。核でも倒せぬとはとかいう展開になりがち。
That's how the movies and books Lisette likes usually end up going. I only hope that this time that won't be the case. And certainly Evo makes it clear that he fully expects Lisette's prediction to come true.
ですが、北京条約で宇宙空間に反応弾を配備するのは禁じられていたのでは?
Preparations for the use were secretly made in anticipation of possible enemy attacks. This is a good excuse for them to openly utilize them.
噂は本当だったというわけですわね。
Canxue's voice is ice cold. She's originally from the moon, where an independence movement has been gaining popularity in recent years. The rumors that the nations of Earth are preparing to use nuclear weapons to silence them.
当たり前じゃん。秘密兵器っていうのは秘密で秘密だから秘密のうちに配備されてるものなのさ。そうか。僕らがまだ導入されないのは秘密戦隊だからだったんだな。なるほど。そうかそうか。
A secret squadron. That reminds me of something. Lisette has shown me media with secret squadrons and all sorts of special rangers, but why do they have to dress in such flashy colors? I'm pretty sure that such gaudy costumes will make them an unforgettable sight. How are they supposed to be secrets? That's right, you're a secret squadron. Most people on Earth don't know of our existence yet, but by the time this fight ends, they'll know about us one way or another. You're the only ones who can fight them. His words are full of certainty and confidence. He's such a strange man. Without him, we would never have acknowledged as Lunate. The 6 lasers Canxue fired hit 2 enemies in sets of 3. One A was cut into 3 distinct pieces while the other was blown in half, though it kept coming towards us. With the aliens' formation disrupted, Lisette not easily dispatched the rest. Lisette took down 2 by the city, while I finished the one that Canxue maimed before I killed another.
私たちの力が通用しますのにまだ信じられませんわ。お嬢は信じなくてもいいけどさ、僕はヒーローだから当然だね。
Finally, in this victory, the 3 of us have beaten back wave after wave of these aliens. At this point, the 3 of us have killed over 50 of them.
来ないな。もう玉切れかにゃ？そうか、僕らに恐怖したな。あの巨大な敵が火星圏から離れたからだと思いますわ。
I agree with Canxue's assessment. That gigantic presence was different for the way. I feel strange. Ever since I assumed this form, it felt like my senses were adapted to space. It was like I could feel things against my skin or smear them despite the vacuum. The gigantic enemy felt like a sense of pressure or maybe a distance from defeat, but by now I stopped feeling it for some time. Not only was the gigantic enemy moving away from us, we were moving away from it while evading the smaller aliens. At this point, we've grown distant from it. We made our way to the Phobos and Deimos bases. Along the way, we found the ruins of the fleet. Dozens of wrecked ships floating through space without a survivor to be found. In fact, we didn't even find any corpses. All base were completely destroyed, and just as devoid of life such as shipwrecks. It occurred to me that perhaps the enemy swarmed the human, regardless if they were still alive or already dead, and carried them back to the mothership. The broken crushed remains of humans we had seen back at the mothership supported the idea. Haven't found nothing out of space went to Martian surface. Martian invadment wasn't all that advanced yet. Its population consists of only 10,000 people, most of who lived in the East Canal base. We decided to search them there for us. The moment the boats came to view, it was evident that the odds of anyone's survival was slim. The base's 5 massive domes were all destroyed, and the corridors connecting those domes to ensure the facilities will breach the countless places. It was clear that the internal atmosphere was gone from the way each hull was surrounded by large amounts of debris. There probably hasn't been any time for emergency procedures or evacuations. We went to the underground control room, discovering that it too had been breached. However, it seemed to have escaped the initial attack. Only the doors and walls had been destroyed. So it was clear that the people here had made a horrible fate. There were puddles of blood, unidentified red smears, and bullet holes everywhere. All the evidence drew a disparate picture of what transpired here. The survivors of the initial attack had likely been forced to retreat deeper to the facility by the enemy. Here they made a futile last stand before meeting their end. Fortunately for us, while the primary power had failed, the auxiliary power was still on. We were able to successfully reboot the systems. Most of the munitions immediately glowed red with alerts, but we could still grasp of the situation in the facility. It didn't look good. Most of the facility's air had been vented from Mars to Astro. No one would still be alive unless they were wearing a spacesuit. Although there were distress signals going off across my surface, all of them will automatically transmit.
あった行くぞ
This other base was small. It was meant for studying geology, consisting of 3 small domes. All 3 domes had large cracks running through them. We split up, searching for survivors, but found none. The most interesting thing we found was a small oval, the kind designed to be piloted by someone wearing their own spacesuit. Its wreck was a good distance away from the base's perimeter. There was a large amount of blood on the driver's seat, which implied the driver was killed while trying to escape before his body was carried off. Aside from the blood, all we could find of him was a bloody name tag that said Takashi Izuka.
おかしいここには絶対にいるはずだ僕の野生の勘が告げているんだこの探査車の行動少々不自然ですよね
When I asked what was strange about it, Canxue replied by pointing to the tire tracks.
襲撃を受けたなら一刻も早く逃げようとするはずですわそれなのにここで一旦停止してから再度発進してますわしかも発進してすぐこちらでぐるっと回ってますわ
In other words, they were distracting the enemy. Is that what she thought the rover's driver had been doing?
慌てて操縦してたまたまとも考えられますけどわかったぞ
Lisette approached a ruined materials storehouse near the rover's wreck. She put on one of the thin, flexible walls, tearing it away. The wall was really just a sheet meant to keep the dust off of the materials stored within. The unpressured interior was spacious, clearly meant to enable work while in a spacesuit. Most of the supplies within had been ruined. This is a really poor choice of a hiding place. Even if you were looking for survivors, the storehouse would be the last place to think of to find one. But now, with the wall put away, we find a small form in a spaceship sitting huddled on the ground.
生きてるああ生きてる生きてる生存者発見さあ立って
I feel like they'd be scared because of how they look. They look kind of scary in the back. I assume the red one is the Canxue because of her red dress, but you can tell that the main character, Circe, is wearing something green. Lisette reached out for the small figure. The face I saw through the visor was that of a small girl, barely into her teens, if even that.
なるほど一度は敵に襲撃された場所にわざわざ隠したというわけですわね
The girl's eyes were completely blank. She didn't respond to anything we said.
あれもしもし立てない
She
の
dead?
かな
Scattered around the field, though with 10 tanks of air. Apparently she had been using them to strike for some time.
もしかして怖がってるなら大丈夫
I
僕
feel
は
like
ヒーローだから
10 tanks of air. And if she's been there for a while, she probably eventually passed.
何言ってますの救助に来たのだとちゃんと伝えるのが先ですわいきなりヒーローと言われて納得する方がいるとでも
I simply said in my mind, being a hero suits Lisette. She's a hero to me after all.
じゃあこれあげる
I raised my voice in surprise. Lisette was holding on to a badge of the invincible girl Gretel. The cartoon was more than a 10-year old at this point, but she still kept the badge with her now. She even wore it as a pendant. I once looked it up on whim. Apparently it's worth a lot of money to white collectors. Not that Lisette would ever be willing to sell it though.
何かあったらこれを握ってヒーローを助けてって呼べば僕がどこからでも駆けつけるから
For Tim and Nod, the girl reached out and took the pendant from Lisette. Okay, so the girl is still alive. It almost sounded like she passed away. Canxue brought over another ticket of auction for the girl. When I asked where she had found it, apparently it has been in another storeroom near the dome. I took more of the digest all the information we had gathered. It had probably been quite some time since the enemy attacked the spot. Just from the amount of empty tanks surrounding the girl, it was clear that the fact she survived for so long was nothing short of a miracle. I'm not sure why it took so long for me to realize that. Canxue approached the girl saying,
変ですわこの子のタンク酸素残量がほぼゼロですわキルケ手分けして探しますわよ
With that, she quickly exchanged the girl's oxygen ring. She moved defensively without any wasted motions. Watching Canxue work Made me feel a bit pathetic and fearful even. On top of that, we have rescued the girl, but how we were supposed to get her off Mars?
そうだ、この子も変身させちゃおう。却下ですわ。どうして？僕らと同じ状況に彼女もすればできるようになるって。
At first I almost agreed with that idea. We were examples that it was possible. All we had to do was put her in the same position as we were. The meaning of what they could entail click displays, I found myself shouting out. Lisette, what are you thinking? Doing that would mean having to scroll suffer through all the terrible dangers we endured.
だからそうすればこの子だって変身できるじゃん。
Freaking idiot, Lisette. She said that while looking at me like she didn't see what was wrong with the idea. Actually made me feel like I was in the wrong for not agreeing for.
確かに同じ状況に置けば変身できるようになるかもしれませんわね。
I couldn't help but let out a shock. Huh? Even Canxue was agreeing that we could put the little poor girl through an awful experience.
でもどうやってあそこへ連れて行きますの？僕がおぶってとか？秘密服だけしか防護がない人間をむき出しのまま運ぶんですの？無理か。
Thinking back on it, the first half of Lisette's proposal to carry the girl on our backs would actually have been possible. It's just that back then we weren't sure if our powers were capable of that. At first, we took the girl back to one of the few pressurized sections of the East Canal base that's throughout the attack, all while the base automatic decision to contain the broadcast. By containing the shuttle area, we found a working low orbit shuttle. Fearing that the enemy might come to check the base second time, we decided to use it to fly to go to what supplies we were able to scavenge from the base for some distance away. Invaders patrolled around the hidden shuttle, anticipating that we may have fended off another enemy attack. But then picked up a transmission from the geological survey base communication thermal. Something had responded to the ongoing distress signal. The message came from a high-speed transport ship named the Circe that was on its way to Mars. They had no idea we had transported on Mars, but they expressed concern that our transmission aside from distress cars had ceased. Canxue reported that all mankind in Mars' sphere of influence had been attacked and wiped out. The four of us seemed to be the only survivors. At first they didn't believe us, but once we provided our biometric data proving that we were in the UF, someone else replaced the person that had initially heard us. That someone introduced himself as Major General Wood Kennison of the UF. That was how we first met the commander. He was on his way to the new station and demo space to show us the detachment commander of the UFS Mars Surface Fleet deal. Between the images of East Canal base ruins that we sent him and the fact that communications were down across the planet, he eventually believed the story. The UFA Hurricanes had confirmed the situation. We acknowledged the situation on Mars, but we lacked any detailed information. Anything provided us with is valuable and important. Are you assigned to the Demos detachment? I hereby order you to extract the civilian survivor and evacuate the plane immediately. With a goal on our shuttle, we configured it to fly up to a maneuver point on autopilot, with the three of us flying in formation around it to guard it. Less than 5 minutes passed once we reached the rendezvous point before we received an emergency transmission from the Herschel. Our vessel, the Herschel, is currently under attack by unidentified hunters. You have vital intelligence, which makes you more vulnerable than us. Evacuate at once. Lisette flew up before she even finished her sentence. Moving so quickly, she turned to flash the light. Her powers make her more capable of fending off much better than she wants, so I agreed for the decision. With a nod, I sped off after Lisette. The faster I flew, the more excited I seemed to get. That fact bothered me some, but there wasn't anything I could do about it at the moment. I spotted her ship in the distance, and the shape was clearly different from that civilian dashboard. Its cargo holds were smaller, while its fuel tanks and engines were larger. It wasn't a transport for general users, but a military vessel with priorities other than fuel consumption and ease of maintenance. The commander of the ship, Canxue, must have been a particularly high-ranking F official. Herschel won attacked by 20 enemies. Perhaps they were made as replacements for the enemies we were taking out earlier. Lisette generated a gigantic burning sword from her hand, using to cut down enemies close in on high-speed transport. The sword was even bigger when I first saw her use it. It must have been more than 10 times as long as she was tall. Seeing that made me realize I could go big too. Now I want to try cutting loose as well. With a thought, I extended my spell light, so my spice it really grew to such a length without even becoming any heavier. What a strange weapon. It moved exactly as I wanted it to, swinging it around. I mowed down the enemies around me with a single swing. I cut 2 or 3 enemies at once. To be honest, I could see since 5 enemies breaking off to attack the sucker. Canxue shot them down with her lace before they could reach it. The battle ended in less than 5 minutes. The enemy had been wiped out. We were unharmed. Once a shattered dark with Herschel, the survivor goal was brought on board.
敵の襲撃はまだ終わりとは限りません。我々は護衛を務めさせていただきますわ。いただきます。乗らないの？だって乗るわけにはいきませんわよ。認証確認したとはいえ、私たちだって。もうまともな存在ではありませんもの。
Canxue's voice wasn't coming from my earpiece, but was instead resonating directly inside my head. It sounded a little bit different.
今の戦いぶりも見られてしまいましたもの。向こうだって私たちに疑念を持っているはずですわ。
Now why, after what the aliens did to us, there's no way we would seem like normal humans anymore.
そうか。魔法少女は魔法少女だってバレると大変なことになるのが常識だった。
First Lieutenant Lisette Agu, First Lieutenant Circe Bernard, and First Lieutenant Lee Canxue. Now then, I order you by authority as commander, board the vegetable wands. You may leave your gear in its current state. You heard noise thrown behind Commander Kennison. The other high-ranking officers with him must have disagreed with his Commander Kennison silenced their objections with a single word.
話がわかる。この人いい司令官だ。
Canxue, Lisette, and I passed through the airlock onto the ship. Allow me to confirm, you are Canaan's infantry with the damage assessment, correct? First Lieutenant Lisette Agu, First Lieutenant Lee Canxue, and First Lieutenant Circe Bernard. Hi, Kaka. Commander Kennison, though at this point in time he was still just Major General Kennison was a solemn name. He invoked the image of a cold forged steel in my mind. It was a wholly different level within the 3 officers standing behind him. They didn't look at us with a mix of disgust and curiosity, but Kennison's gaze was unclouded and he looked straight at us. One of the 3 snapped at us, telling us to do away with those ridiculous outfits if he considered us safe soldiers at the UFF. Kenxue and I exchanged glances. We weren't really sure how we changed into our forms, so we weren't sure how to get out of them either. Don't go off. You might go naked. Oh! I thought you would go naked. In the blink of an eye, Lisette returned to how she looked before transforming.
そんな。あれ？なんで脱がないの？ここって軍隊だから上官の命令に従わないとまずいんじゃなかったっけ
Lieutenant Kennison said he turned around to face the 3 men behind him. You seem to regard these 3 as dangerous. Exit this room and close the door to guarantee your safety. This is an order. The officer began complaining loudly. I repeat, this is an order. I will assume all responsibility for this. As the Major General's words, he fell silent and moved to the adjacent room. First Lieutenant Lisette Agu, you may put on your attire from earlier. Firstly, I want you to tell me how you came to possess this power. Tell me everything.
意見具申をしてもよろしいでしょうか。
Yeah, my permission.
なぜ私たちのような怪しげな存在を敵ではないと判断したのですか？
It's simple. I watched you fire on the monitor earlier. Human technology can't harm the enemy. Their mobility far exceeds ours. No UFE fleet would be able to oppose them. As it stands, current human technology can't defeat these aliens. The only ones who seem to have the potential to defeat them are you 3. In this situation, all we can do is rely on you. Does that explanation put you on my knees? Lisette exceeded proudly out of her nose and pumped her fist for assignment.
来た来た燃える燃えたぎるよ地球の運命は僕にかかっているのかリゼット少々の前でその態度は
I was pretty number sure on the side, Lisette. I tried Lisette about actually plenty of times away in the past, but it always goes in one ear and out the other. Exactly right, at least. I think you are, but it would possibly require a great sacrifice to get the top of Bronze City in some way. I was shocked. How could someone be so amazing? He was the only one who didn't get irritated or angered by Lisette's intakes. Following that, Canxue did most of the talk as she explained the course of events, starting from my debris removal mission near Mars. Canxue's explanation was coached and organized. Had very little to add. Whenever I opened my mouth, she used to try Lisette whenever she cut in with needless commentary. Major General Canxue's questions were always to the point, despite being a rather long conversation ended before we knew it. An exchange of note was when we recounted how we descended to Mars' surface in search of these cannabis. What is just of there being survivors in the East Canal base? He asked us that question. Canxue's explanation made it very clear that there was no chance of survival, yet he asked again, so as if to make it absolutely clear, given how he never wasted any time already there was some accent this question seemed rather strange.
私たちが実際に見てきた状況と東キャナル基地で得た情報の範囲に限って言えば生存者がいる可能性はほぼないと思います
But she seemed to realize something because she quickly added.
ですが大規模に人員を投入して隅々まで捜索をすれば生きている区画がある可能性もゼロではないと思いますわ
You have needed the manpower, no supplies for that. Organizing that kind of mission is impossible. The expression and voice were pretty flat, but I saw him clench his fist tremor. It was a small minute detail. Even if it were possible, it won't be the correct course of action. What we must do now is prepare for the hostilities to come. Must return to you, Jove. It felt more like it was reassuring himself after speaking to us. I later learned that his wife and daughter, who was herself about our age, happened to be visiting Mars that day. Even knowing the chances of that survival was slim, he must have wanted nothing more than to come to the planet's surface and search for them. During our journey back on Earth, Kinnison worked ceaselessly with us for second sleep in favor of fully understanding our abilities and plan how to utilize them. New to his attention teacher, he figured that we could go out in shifts and help push the transport ship to even faster speeds. That desperate measure allowed us to reach Earth in just a third of the time the usual voyage would take. The moment we arrived, he began intense negotiations with the top brass. The objective of the talks was the formation of our unit. Parts that was his way of distracting himself from the grief of losing his wife and child. And so just before the decisive battle again, our special warfare trooper trial unit was founded under the premise that we would serve a central role in the war against the UCC. At the moment, we were stationed at Base 32, a small orbital base in the Earth's orbit located far away from the front line. It should be starting any minute now. The holographic projector inside the HQ room displays how the CC vanguards began to push into the space sector, where the UFE have set up their ambush. And Sync, the main force in the ambush units, fired the salvos of ordnance. Canxue's animation is justified. The blasts extend in all directions, enveloping the CC in wave after wave of violent explosions. None of the CC can escape the shower sharper that washes over them like coming tide. At least it would be if we were up against humans. Despite the amount of such fire, especially huge, although each individual piece of shrapnel from the explosion is highly lethal, the distance involved mean that there are huge gaps in between them. Spaceships being too slow to take advantage of this, still eventually take a hit, but the CC are so noble that they actively swim to those wide gaps with dots that come shrapnel, consistently invading and harming together. These new types of missiles are loaded with multiple autonomous warheads. Once released, the individual warheads trigger once they detect a nearby enemy. You have to be able to evade that easy enough, wouldn't you?
制する効果はあると思いますわ。わざわざ破片が密集している地域を突破するより、そこを回避しようと行動する方が確率は高いですから。そうして誘導した空間に主力艦隊のレーザーの集中射撃を加えれば、機動力に優れた敵とはいえそれなりの被害を与えることも期待できる。それが作戦の狙いなのでは。
I see, they made the fleet look like it was just bait, but the Woodley Corps is actually the wave of ordnance which restricts the Circe way to maneuver. A quite smart one, First Lieutenant. That's exactly what the top brass had in mind. I can hear a bit of chill and mix into the transmission between executing the fleet. The operation is going according to plan. Several dozen of alien flyers seem to be given off and failed with reactions prove that the laser fire is hitting them. What did I say? I could say this is going to be one of those longer games. It's free, which is odd. I mean, I know like on itch.io, it's free. But like this was on Steam, so it cost like I think like $100 to get on Steam, and it was free, which is weird. But I'm not complaining. The operation is going according to plan. Several dozen of alien flyers seem to be giving off infrared ray reactions, proof that the laser fire is hitting them. But this is as far as they'll get. The tide's trying to get humanity in the blink of an eye. The hits the lasers scoring are doing nothing to stop the events of the alien flyers. After breaking through both the screen of sharp created by the explosions and the barrage of laser fire, the CC began to swarm the fleets of ships that had dared to confront them. The chill from Ole feels like a dream now. The comms are packed with nothing but screams and pain shots. The UF army is tumbling down the sharp incline towards ruin. If you assume that the same thing that happened on Martian's second place here, aliens must be tearing apart the vessels, hulls, and abducting the crew onto the mothership dead or alive. Wait, we don't have orders to engage it. End Aegis should play a trump card soon. They have no choice.
ですが、敵の機動力をもってすれば影響範囲から逃れるのもたやすいです。
Holding no breath, Canxue looks up at the commander's face.
そんなの作戦じゃありませんわ。
Quite the opposite. Izuku probably didn't predict what would be Corner's battles. No, still orders. A shot of fire over my heart. Each squadron to HQ received a classified order in case something like this happened. We have our orders. They will see them through. The operation map starts to shrink with small flashes. The order is that if the enemies overwhelms the ship, they are at liberty to make efficient use of the special, guaranteeing that it hits the enemy to their blow to the wings. Those flashes are the final acts of each spaceship. They are self-destructing. Given how much faster the CC are, it seems unlikely that any of the spaceships will escape. Their crews are basically doomed to be abducted, but still tearing them to self-destruct. No, that wasn't how the order went. All the order said was to simply make effective use of the weapon. What's the enemy estimated crash rate? HQ staff officers replied that the enemy had lost maybe a tenth of their forces. Affected commanders must be murderous machines that know how to most efficiently spend their lives, allies' lives. That's what this is. This is the height of blindfolding. The fantasy of purported geniuses who know none of the reality of the front lines. The fate of the ambush fleets, which are made up of older rushers, is a tragic one. With their ordnance expanding, all they have left are outdated laser weapons. Their firepower is incapable of damaging an enemy. Their hulls are torn apart and their crews abducted and killed until only silence remains. 7 of the ships managed to detonate the reactor warheads to self-destruct, taking down some of the enemy flyers, but the enemy is so tough that unless the splash hits them at point-blank range, even that's not enough to kill them. This isn't a battle, it's a one-sided massacre. The few of the older ships tried to plunge deeper into the heart of the enemy lines, trying to act as a diversion for the main fleet, but sadly, even the main fleet lacked the firepower to capitalize on these momentary distractions. Even the newer ships can't keep up with the enemy's mobility. They damaged some of the flyers by hitting them point blank with their more powerful lasers, but for every alien names, many more ships are torn apart. Graph showing the casualties from my side continues its upward climb. By now, all the other ships are wiped out. 80% of the main fleet is gone too. The UF army is being utterly annihilated.
なんで命令が出ないんだ。切り札は僕らなのに。ここに切り札いるよ。いるんだってば。
Got points. I know they're skeptical, but if they can like literally like take out like hundreds, like dozens of them, like it's nothing, they should use it.
こんな劣等生が切り札とは。地球も積みましたわね。
Despite her dark words, Canxue has a smile on her face. I can hear her operating full Kinnison about upcoming transmission from UFF headquarters. Finally, I had thought it would take more for them to get over their pride. The opera reads out the orders from HQ. The Special Warfare Trooper Unit is ordered to cover the UEFF's military main force and assist in the evacuation of the moon civilian population.
こういう時、司令部の連中は悔しそうに言ってくれないと。気にすんし。君、我々の所有兵器では目標に対し有効な手段がないことは認めよう。だが、君なら勝てるのかね。
She is full of herself.
そうしたら司令はメガネの端をクイッと上げて。そのために。
You don't wear glasses.
言わなきゃ。
Commander Canxue ignores Lisette's words without so much as blink. Instead, he says to the operator, "How long until the CC's Vanguard reaches the moon?" The operator replies that it will take 4 hours. Calculate how long it will take to evacuate all of the moon stations. Commander Canxue looks over each one of us and says, "First Lieutenant Lisette, Aguru, First Lieutenant Circe Bernard, and First Lieutenant Lee Canxue. The Special Warfare Troopers are hereby ordered to deploy. Cover the moon systems as they evacuate. I pray that you do all that you can." Canxue and I salute. Lisette responds by pumping fist excitement.
やっほー！いっちょやるか！ついに秘密戦隊のデビューだ！
I leap out of the airlock into space. The sudden shift from the artificial gravity produced by centrifugal force to zero gravity makes my head spin, but I still recover. The blue bar card hovers directly beneath us. As cliche as it might seem to call it that, its azure hue truly is undeniable. Above us is the dark abyss of space. The sensation of space against my skin feels warmer than it did back in the space sector of my Mars. I somehow got used to perceiving the cosmos directly through all 5 of my senses. It's such a strange feeling. We've already fought the aliens several times already, but this is our first time fighting as an official unit. On top of that, the lives of so many rests on our slender shoulders. It's not just the lives of everyone on the moon, but the future of everyone back on Earth as well. I can't fight the combination of elation and fear creeping through me. Can I really shoulder such a heavy burden?
行くぞ行くぞ行くぞー！
From the looks of it, Lisette only feels excitement about all this. I wish I could feel that way too.
大丈夫ですわ。もしうまくいかなくても、あなたのせいではありませんもの。
Canxue comes over to my side, whispering that to me.
もともと私たちが背負うべきものじゃないんですか？でも、たまたまそういう巡り合わせになってしまっただ
She got a point though.
け。できる範囲でやるしかありませんわ。それ以上求められても困りますし。
I nod, but I can't say that I feel relieved at all. After all, she's fighting for homeless people. She must be feeling an even heavier, more question-sense responsibility than I am. Yet she still found it in herself to share these words with me. It makes me happy. We fly into space faster and more gracefully than any spaceship. We're blitzed by the captive military ships headed for the moon and accelerate the entire way. This between Earth and the moon doesn't even seem real to me. Yes, like it crossed in a second, but in the past, when the pilot level first landed on the moon, its journey took 4 days. Now this fastest spaceship can make a trip in a day. The civilian eventually needs 2. We finished our journey in less than 3 hours. If the city was to slow down to let us keep up with her, she could have arrived even sooner. The space sector above the moon is in a state of chaos. Civilian ships queuing evacuate citizens, military crafts, media crews cover the evacuation ships everywhere. Special warfare troops remain in time until the entirety of the moon season or evacuated is roughly 31 hours. Receive transmission from Commander Kinnison. If you destroy the aliens' defense force, that should buy us a day into the massive alien arrives. I expect you to put up a good fight, but maybe that's the kind of platitude you might expect me to say now. So I won't tell you to do that. I already know you are capable. You finish passing by the moon, rapidly approaching battlefield where the aliens are massacring the EF's forces. Some ships should destruct the reactor overheads, others are torn apart by CC before they can, while still others are punched forward by Jinseko's crewmen suffocate to death as their species are torn from their bodies. Lissette's body glows with white light as she manifests a gigantic sword. The sword grows bigger and bigger till it's so large that its width is longer than Lisette herself.
Lisette! 艦船から遠い奴らを優先してあなたの武器は強力だから艦船ごと切断しかねませんわ。このこのこの
As always, Lisette doesn't listen, but somehow, or maybe also in typical Lisette fashion, the master seeps through the CC swarm without even as much as scratching a single EFF ship. Canxue manifests her 6 teddy bears surround herself.
バカな天才に注意などするものではありませんわね。キルテ、私はこの子たちととどまって撤退を援護しますわ。あなたはリゼットと一緒に。
I now I'd manifest a spear of light in my hand and fly off. It shrinks up the spear out wide in the safe space and sit initially cleaved open. Just as 6 teddy bears fire laser beams and shoot down and enemies that try to sneak up behind us.
エイリアンシスベスシスベス弱いぞ弱いぞ地球人をなめるな見たか見たか目に物見たか
Lisette cuts through every CC she comes across, one after another. She utterly overwhelms them. No other one can describe it. Meanwhile, I sweep up any enemies that slip by her that she leaves crippled. The storm of CC flies between chances and seems to shift the focus from the EFF fleet to us. Acknowledging us the bigger threat, they peel away from the ships and rush towards us. Lisette laughs loudly. She's crazy. But I think I actually really like her though because of how optimistic he is, and she just doesn't care no matter how dire the stakes are. With rapid spins of her blade light, she mows down the CC swarming around her. Somehow her sword looks like it's growing even bigger, or even larger bigger than before. She's amazing. Her lines might sound more thin or willing than the hero, but either way, she's still amazing. Oh no, Lisette's too cool. Still, as cool as she is, I can't afford to spend all my time gawking at her. The ugly CC are trying to swarm me too. Using my spear's long reach, I cut down several of them with a single slash. Canxue's cover fire is precise. Whenever there's more enemies than I can handle, she either forces them back or outright eliminates them. You have a special take advantage of my distraction escape. They're all stay of the oil ships, meaning they're probably remnants from the century. But they're all heavily damaged and some of them are obviously internally crippled. Apparently the only CC left behind us as Canxue flies over to my side. Despite how far away Lisette is, I can clearly hear her laughing maniacally. That's a villain. That's literally like a villain would do. Assistant crackers, I can hear the hound and the CC flies are still cut to pieces. The two of us look at each other for a second. That's my Lisette for you. Well, interrupted by a military vessel approaching us. It's missing half its thrusters and its entire weapons model. I recognize it as one of the new Orient class cruisers. We watch it pass us by when just as cruiser reaches your voice alarm, CC flies that have been clinging to the far side of the ship lead away and rush straight for us. They're nearly right on top of us, hoping that we fail to react in time. Oh, so they were smart. They were using the little ship as a distraction. But one of Canxue's teddy bear props exists between us and the vintage CC. It fires a single red beam before its entire body explodes. Very CC scatters to avoid the blast, giving us the time we need. One enemy holding straight towards Shockwave, but I cut it down with ease. Another one explodes as Canxue's other 5 teddy bears burn it down with concentrated fire. But the enemy is surprised, lost, the remaining CC pose no more threat to us any longer. The two of us mopped the rest of up in the mere second after that. Sure enough, the CC's attack a bait, Lisette says. With that disappointing remark, she turns around and begins to return to base. That's how we conclude our first official recorded battle. I take a shower and throw my room. There I find Lisette lying on the floor, her limbs spread wide. I can't help but tell her to put her uniform on. After all, we might be caught actually in a moment. She hastily turns her eyes in my direction. She's not wrong. I don't really notice while we're flying fine, but once it's over, we transform back. It's like all the fatigue catches up at once. I got really give it tight, hungry, shredded all at once. It's very awful. We reach our Kimino Kinnison by neighboring first May. He gave us permission to shower whenever we change back. As soon as I did under the transformation to wash myself off, I finished a drain. I could hardly stay on my feet. I wonder if the magical goals and transforming heroes from all those shows to sit forcing me to watch with will also get decided after they transform. They did get a credit for an ice cold bill too. Have a sign. I leave a sign on my bed. They said cross over to my feet and starts rubbing her head into my lap. Before she can get any further though, Canxue comes out of the bathroom and kisses me.
3人部屋でごめん遊ばせ本当だよそれとも混ざる遠慮しておきますわ服を着たらさっさと出ていくのでご安心を
She stops for a moment at the door, though, turning around her face for a second.
あなたも大変ですわねでももう少しこの野生児を信じてもいいのではなくて
But that remark she leaves the room. I know, for all the complaints, Canxue respects our relationship and does her best as to be considerate of us. But she can be so clever and scary. I realize I might come across as colorless for thinking that way, but she scares me.
野生児って誰
I wrap my arms tightly around Lisette's head. It's fine if she don't understand. For the next operation, the Special Warfare Trooper unit will deploy from the very beginning.
やったー上層部もこの部隊の力を認めたのですね
It's clear that they're treating us differently now. For the last mission, we were stationed at Base 32, a small base moving along the Earth's orbit. And now that they've lost so many ships and personnel, we've been assigned to the far larger Atlantic base, which is now the vacant of its usual garrison. This military base is located between Earth and the Moon. Its facilities are much better equipped, so life here is far more comfortable. Of course, our pusher quarters and the base's command center are built from the same model design, so those spaces are pretty much the same as on Base 32.
他に看板がないからなのでは
Exactly, there's no point trying to consider the casualties from the previous operation. After all, they were so confident that we'll win that they had the media ships right at the scene of the battle. Multiple media ship outlets have covered you heretics. In fact, at this point, your actions are the only that we're talking about.
燃える地球公認のヒーローか秘密戦隊じゃなくなったのが残念だけどさ作戦とおっしゃいましたが統合宇宙軍に作戦を行える兵力が残っているのですか
Survivors from the fleet are being reorganized into the first task force to get with you doing.
我々の部隊があれば小型の飛行隊軍には対抗できますですがルドンの目に対抗できるとは思えません
Based on your achievements during the last operation, the top brass thinks you can. They think we're capable of destroying that thing. No matter how you look at it, we're going to lose big time. I'll explain this operation outline then. The reorganized UEF military will be defending New Beijing and New Washington with everything they have. I can feel the presence of the CC swarm quickly approaching us. I would say, I noticed this, I really thought this was going to be a much shorter novel. But because it was free, you could really get this on Steam for absolutely free. And I thought it was going to be a much, smaller novel, like really small. It's not that small, which is fine. I don't care. It's free, so what's the point of looking? And it's actually good. I actually like it. But it's just kind of like, got a lot there. It makes me wonder how long it is. I'm starting to think it might be like 6-7 hours long, but for a free novel, I should make it $10, or at least make it a couple. Under, it kind of odd to make it free. I'm not complaining it's free. Just put so much work into it and have it for free. It's kind of odd, Ship that dropped us off has already retreated. At this point, it's only us versus them in this space sector.
ヒーローってのはもっと勝手にできるもんだと思ってたんだよね。無理ですわよ。いろいろしがらみがありますもん。面倒。
Immense silver spot below us. Two stains splash across it are New Beijing and New Washington. The vessel parts are on the silver, so just heat exchanges and various communications ways. The majority of a series of sails is on the ground. Citizens have already finished background. The only people left down there are grinding range to play the role in the attack to come. The person between us and the main server is the UF's first task
これが
force.
終わったらさ、軍隊辞めてさ、民間の警備会社でもやろうよ。そして裏では正義の秘密戦隊。僕がいつもゴロゴロダラダラしてるけど、これという時にはバシッと決めるキャプテンで、ヒルケがおっぱい大きくて真面目な秘書さん。キャプテンは仕事中にも秘書さんといつもうだうだしてんの。
It could be my big boobs, seriously.
秘書ですか。
That doesn't sound so bad actually. Not bad, it seems bad at all. So long as I get to stay with Lisette, ain't is fine by me. For some reason, I think I'll probably end up working part-time jobs behind the scenes to make ends meet.
で、お嬢が面倒なことは全部やってくれんの。浮気調査とか、迷子のペット探しとか。それは警備会社ではなくて、探偵社ではなくて。
That could also work, though with Canxue around, I can't see us ever having problems with money.
面白ければどっちでもいいや。っていうか、何でも屋にすればいい。どう二人とも悪くないでしょ。私がいない時、誰が仕事をするんですの？その時は休み時間ですっていう札を入り口のところへ出しとくから問題ないよ。それだと私があなたたちを食べさせてることになるのではありませんこと？いえ、そんなことはさすがに。私は秘書としてデータの整理とかやりますから。なる！でも給料は一番いっぱいあげるからさ。そもそも儲けが出る気が全くしないので、額面上一番多くても意味がありませんわ。ケチ。
Sorry, what? The image presses seem to be getting closer. They're not showing any signs of attacking off. By now, the other two have no issues real.
無視するとは生意気な。僕が突撃して。
Dude, don't realize disrespect.
遠来の客人方を宿へ案内してやらねばなりませんわね。
Can't shoot manifest with 6 sabers around itself. Each one fires a laser out from its eyes, nose, mouth, and each of its limbs. 8 lasers per barrel for a total of 48 lasers. One laser per sim. Each invader's laser is relatively weak. Oh, okay, so 48 weak lasers.
ご冗談でしょ。いくらなんでも当たらないって。
Even if she does, these beams won't do much. Essential infrared waves make it clear that the lasers have hit the target, but they won't be able to penetrate the barriers of the CC flyers. Of course, Canxue must know this too. Is she trying to provoke them then? She fires more lasers, but each time she shoots, she does so with few ways. Is she exhausting herself? Suddenly, one corner of CC formation pushes the
撃破
flames.
しましたわ。
What was her plan?
お、すごい。どうやったの？昔の土級戦艦の方式でやってみました。士官学校で習いましたわ。
As she explains, she fires an barge. Once again, the number of waves gradually decreases before finally piercing through the enemy.
散布会ですね。
Long ago, the Sea of Oak was ruled by naval battleships. These ships had huge guns that could fire at great distances. However, without radar, accurately hitting targets from extreme range was very difficult. Precisely calculating the target's relative trajectory and compensating for any maneuvers it might make by simultaneously account for the effects of the wind was not merely complex. Instead, they would fire barrage of shells in a set pattern and track for each linear relative to a target. By continuously adjusting their predictions and refining their understanding of the target's movement, gradually tightening their barrage until they scored a hit. Since continues applying the same tactics to light laser barrages. Plus, she roughly estimates the enemy's position and fires a spray of low-power lasers. These can't penetrate the alien's barriers, but she can figure out which ones score hits by searching for the resulting infrared rays. Based on which lasers hit from the previous volley, she knows the spread while increasing each shot's power. Eventually, she pierces the enemy's barriers entirely, shooting the aliens down. So what, is she like shooting lasers trying to figure out where the aliens are precisely? And then each time she does it, she uses less lasers, but each laser is more powerful. So you got 48, which is like the biggest amount, and it'll probably hit something. And then she decreases it, and then it's like 36. But those lasers are more powerful than the 48, and then she increases it to like 24, and those are more powerful than the 36. That's what I'm guessing.
あったっけ？まあいいや。これでこっちに来るぞ。
The CC formation begins to turn our way. Maybe the aliens have some kind of reference for the number 5 because they always cover groups of that size. Alright. The enemy drawing closer makes Canxue's lasers that much more accurate. The CC are already taking considerable losses from weathering the one-sided barrage.
ほら、全滅しちゃったじゃないか。大丈夫ですわ。今度はもっと多数でいらっしゃいますわ。
5 groups of 5 minutes to survive Canxue's persistent fire. They close in on us at rapid speed. She shoots down 11 of them, but 14 still remain before they're upon us.
来た来た。今度はちゃんと来た。行くぞ。
Lisette springs forward and I follow
う
suit.
わー。巨大ザンマ熱狂剣。
The thing is though, she does a pose like that, where it's like she's about to attack, but I don't see a sword. Is a sword in her like left hands, or not left hand, right hands, and I just can't see it. As her body shines from a blinding white light, as the aura about her motion to the ship of sword, she dives into the enemy's ranks. I manifest my long lances from my hands, thrusting it forward as well.
弱い弱いぞお前ら。これが正義の拳だ。真っ赤に燃える火の玉だ。
She spins white blade like a railroad milling down, slashing through and tearing apart the enemy. She amazes me every time I look at her. Whichever wants to attempt to avoid her attacks meet no ends at the tip of the spear. Those that get past me are promptly shot down by Canxue's lasers. It doesn't take long for us to wipe the enemy
こ
out.
れならさ、あのでかいの以外は僕たちで始末できるじゃん。そう簡単ではなさそうですわ。
I fight Canxue's gaze. The rest of the enemy group that had ignored his temperature now spread it out as they approach
来
us.
た来た。
That's a lot of them. Canxue's shots become stronger and more accurate the closer the enemy comes. She shoots her aliens down one after another in large numbers.
作戦通り退却しつつ戦闘に移行ですわね。でも作戦とはいえリゼットが退却してくれるかな。
Through our look, all I see are more CC. Space spillage around us. I can feel it shaking across my skin. She swings herself around like the very sword she wields, spinning like a tornado as she charges straight towards the incoming enemy. She surely doesn't look like she's planning to retreat. Canxue doesn't look concerned at all, but that's because she doesn't know Lisette as real as I do. I have to keep my wits about me. If this thing goes wide, I'm the only one who can really pull back. This is Dash March Punch video. Slowly but steadily, the background shifts closer to the moon.
うわーおりゃーどっせー地球人をなめるなー
Lisette thrusts deep into reinforces. I cut down enemy shield with looks, and Canxue shoots down any that get past me. Canxue's attack went extremely wide, allowing her to cover from the weird astral containers or something made on. We took too many of them, and nearly some of them, though not many, slid past us three. It's something to do, Lisette simply
お
goes.
りゃー逃げるなーうざいまったくおもりは大変だ
She turns her one blade takes off after the fleeing aliens, cutting them down while shouting otherwise. She's extremely keen on not letting any escape, letting a single one escape her. Watching her chase after the enemy yet again, I'm under myself.
ちゃんと作戦通り動いてるの
It turns out that I don't actually have to stop her.
重しがつけてあるからですわ重し
I see what Canxue means by that. The burden is us. We're supposed to be protecting the whale, but despite efforts, some of the aliens are slipping past us. Someone has to pursue them and finish them off. Between the two of us, Canxue has more kills by far. I'm not but a burden for Lisette, I just drag her down. Canxue looks over my
あれ
shoulder.
ですわ
That is the UEF's first task
私
force.
たちの防衛線を CC に突破されれば昨日まで統合軍最強部隊だったハリボテが攻撃にさらされるじゃありませんかそうか
The only battle proved that they were powerless against the CC, given that Lisette insists on being a hero who protects the weak. They're no different from a civilian and she's responsible for watching over.
宇宙統合軍のメンツで役にも立たない部隊を並べてるのかと思っていたのですけどあれはリゼットの行動を制約するためだったのですわねメンツを立ててやるふりをしてあそこへ配置させるように仕向けたんですわまったくうちの司令官閣下は食えないお人
Commander Kinnison. If it wasn't for him, we've only been seen to as women who had something strange implanted into their bodies by the aliens. It would have been quarantine or was experimented on like guinea pigs. The only reason we're not being put under the knife and instead being allowed to fight is 6 a.m. I'm extremely grateful for everything he's done. But he may be a scary man than I realize. It does feel like the enemy's attacks are dying down, but
そうですねじゃ
that theme must be coming. The ship flies back to us.
あ来たぞあいつが来た
You can all sense it. That gigantic enemy, we don't the enemy that attacked us and gave us this power, its trajectory turned towards us. But that's our operation predicted. Several hours ago, during our briefing, I'll explain the operation outline. In the reorganized UEFF military will be defending New Beijing and New Washington with everything they have. Lisette and Canxue expressed his fear of disappointment.
守るより攻めでしょ押してダメなら押しまくるせめて希望があるとは思えませんが守っても希望があるとは思えませんわ
I could understand disappointment. This isn't a defensive plan, it's an offensive plan. Meant to make effective use of our reactor warheads despite their slow speed and small effective radius. As Mars, the enemy destroyed all the facilities orbiting the planet before descending to the planet's surface. Still, they risk like other bases slaughtering and abducting all the personnel. They will most likely do the same to Mars. However, if you could put up enough neutrons, the enemy flyers will be incapable of completing those objectives. In that situation, the most powerful unit they have within inside will be forced to personally arrive in order to deal with you. Lisette's eyes practically lit up.
僕らならやっつけられるってわけか
No, as past you are, we're not expecting that much out of you. Indeed, I don't think our power will be effective against something that massive. Still, I can't help but think we'll somehow figure out some way to deal with it all the same.
司令部の期待通りに事態が進むとすれば月面の2都市は毒入りの餌相手が食いついてきたらたっぷりからし入りというわけですわね
Exactly. One Once all the cities have been evacuated, we'll bring large numbers of reactor warheads into the cities. Usually we just need to keep the fight going until the very last moment, then make you retreat. Once you do, the enemy will go for the cities.
あの目みたいな部分に打ち込むというわけですか？
今までのデータからして、あの招かれざるお客様の機動力は小型飛行体ほどはなさそうですわね。
So we could assume that that Wiener's eye could be like maybe the mothership type thing, maybe? Like you got all the swarmers and that didn't give it a power and maybe it's like lethal. Exactly, if we find the reactor warheads from close range, it should be able to avoid it. They're prepared by rockets, albeit very simple ones. From the previous batch, we know that the blasts of reactor warheads are able to damage the alien flyers. The wood governments are guiding up all the reactor warheads to avoid it and are sending them all to the moon right now. Forwards are constant stream of ships arriving at and departing from Moon's Armstrong spaceship, and since Haribo plays on the holographic display. They will bring the nuclear warheads on their trip to the moon and evacuate refugees on the way back. Still, I'm assuming they're preparing for what comes after this war because what they're delivering is much less than what we know they have. Anyway, this is by far the biggest stockpile of firepower in one place ever since the dawn of human history.
反応弾運用部隊は無人ですの？
Smaller number of inspection personnel will remain there until the last minute. It's a do-or-die mission, but we have many volunteers, more hours on the rise. The last battle was affected by getting everyone's spirits up. If nothing else, it proved that the enemy can be destroyed.
僕らの大活躍があったからね。インタビューとか殺到しちゃったりして。でも秘密戦隊も捨てがたい。悩むな。
Me's been having a field day with you, Eric. Your identities are still confidential though. Ulf knows about you, but the rest is still secret.
おお、有名なのに秘密戦隊か。両方とはすごいぞ。
アホですわこの人。
Wish I thought this optimism that lets you see the best in these sisters was one of her best qualities. Radiant's eye punches menacingly as if looming over the two cities. The enemy hovers some 18 miles above the moon surface. That doesn't sound like final boss stuff. I don't know what does, cause that's some final boss music right there. We've been performing the fight and retreat over the course of 4 whole hours, luring the enemy to a specific spot. The blue light spearing from its eye like tail shines down on New Beijing and New Washington. Staying our ground in that silver space between the enemy and the cities, we'll continue fighting the CC flyers. They kept the CC from reaching the cities, preventing them from discovering that door or being safe for the volunteer.
地球は僕が守ってる。
The ship flies through the air, much like a gigantic sword that cuts down the image one by one.
リゼット、距離が20キロになったら撤退ですわよ。
Any flights that get past the city are either shot down by Canxue or 6 teddy bear lasers slash apart by my spell. UFA unit consisting of the few ships that were able to cover the gate have already retreated. At this point, it's just us and the push to hiding in the nearby cities.
にしてもあの敵って白い水星帝国より強いな。何度か表面を剣で切り刻んだんだけどすぐ回復しちゃうんだよ。ずるいよ。無茶だよリゼット。勝手にそんなことやったんですの？
Whenever did she descend down to the surface and wait inside and come back?
だって切り刻めるかと思ったんだもん。
それで済むならこんな面倒な作戦とかやらないですわ。
Situation makes my ear, so launch units from the seas are finally ready to fight at reactors. That means we have to start falling back. Mirror's eye is too large to get away quickly. At this range, it won't have time to retreat. We begin to withdraw from the battlefield.
私たちも撤退ですわ。
待って、取り残された友軍がいるらしい。
Moonshine has so much mass that it's influencing gravity around the moon. Some of the design escape routes along the moon's surface must have collapsed.
助けに行くぞ。仕方ないですわね。時間がないですからすぐに済ませますわよ。
We hold over to our position. As you fly above the moon's surface, we can see that some of the tube tunnels connecting the city to the spaceship have been destroyed. Some people's spaces are caught now after a crashed vehicle. Moment they spot us, they wave away their hands and cheers.
僕たち有名人だ。サインとかしなくちゃかな。はいはい、有名有名。よかったですわね。そういうのは終わってからですわ。それに秘密戦隊がサインをしてどうするんですの。秘密戦隊は辛いね。
We touched down and ushered them back to the vehicle. Once the officer could aside, the three of us deploy a force field. Force field, that's the term of the field that surrounds us when creatures form. It includes our magical garbage, weapons, and our barriers we produce. It's not hard to explain, but we expand our force field so they envelop the vehicle. Once we lift the vehicle up into the air, we begin carrying the reflection to the spaceport. As an overbearing pressure washes over us, making me look up, Ray's eye glows down at us, seeming so close that seems like all I would take to touch it is to extend my hand. Blue light spears from escaping eye like tail, casting a pale azure glow over us all. I realize now that the blue surface looks as though it's... I feel like it's getting closer to. It's dripping, almost like the eye is weeping, but the unnoticed substance isn't tears, it's because gigantic pale blue tenders reach down towards us.
やば、早く早く。これ以上無理ですわ。高度を下げるしかないですわ。
Shuma tinkers grow even larger, rapid fills the skies as the tips come even closer. We slowly lower our engine in an attempt to escape the tinkers. It seems that our presence has been reached this point. It looks as though the bluish ruin is reaching all around us. I finally come to a realization. Of the three of us, I'm contributing the least towards towing the vehicle. Let's say a Christian would leave the vehicle would plummet to the ground. But it wouldn't if I did. I'm accomplishing the least here. It would be better for me to make use of myself in a different way.
私が触手を引きつけます。二人は中港までこの人たちを運んで。かっこいいぞ、キルケ。でもそれは僕の役目だ。ダメですわ、キルケさん一人では。
I will actually get for my force field.
頼みます。
I pull away the vehicle, lunges once as Canxue and Lisette adjust to grip. A moment later, they recover and resume flying away.
僕が戻ってくるまで頑張れ。そうですわ。私たちはチームである以前に友達なんですのよ。
I manifest my weapon back into existence and launch an attack along the tentacles pursuing the vehicle. While my weapon hits home, the powerful shockwave that sends me flying back, blue liquid gushes from the tentacle where I struck it. At the very least, I can damage it. That small discovery gives me courage. I slash 3 more times as the tentacle closes in on the vehicle. It's too thick for me to cut through, but I am clearly hurting it. The bluish blood pouring from its wound freezes in the blink of an eye, forming a so blister that covers my shoulders. Some part of me can't help but think that the sight is beautiful. Maybe that arrow dart is what doing me, or maybe I'm simply too weak. But by the time I notice the second person near me, the tentacle's master has already swooped in on me. There's no time to dodge it. It seems to me, sending me flying through the air. My dodge faded to black. I'll fade into nothing. I'm falling into dark cold darkness where I can't feel none. No, I don't want this. Not this. I don't want this. I have no way of resisting. I'm fading away, fading away, fading away. My arms, my legs, my stomach, my head, all of me fading away. It's all over. Something rushing through my head, a cold and bent on wiping me out of existence. Chill flows into every groove of board of my brain. Set. She appears within the light. I push him up the sacred white light, a light shaped like a sword. That's right, it's a set. The pushes I hold dearer than anyone. The one I never want to be turned away from. I am Ew, Seal. That's right, I'm Circe. My name flares up, but for my really existed like a flame rushing through my body. The tubes attacking my body are severed at the roots. My limbs feel light all of a sudden. I feel something leave my body. Although I feel light, I can't muster enough strength to move. Immediately after, something tightly embraces me. Lisette flies off from me in her arms. A large mass of tentacles pursues us from all directions, trying to throw us back down to the surface. Yet somehow Lisette and I slip through the narrow, twisting path with it and the tangles of tentacles. It's as if time and space and Circe to forth to Lisette's feet. We escape the floor, whip-like tentacles crawling in our wake. But just then, a thick trunk of tentacles thrust towards us from Lisette's blind spot. We can't get away. And on top of that, lasers are closing in on us from ahead. Yet Lisette doesn't even try to avoid them. She continues flying straight ahead without a moment's hesitation. The lasers hit the thick tentacle just as its tip winds back to strike us. Explosions of blue bodily fluids spill from its flesh and its swing misses us by a hair's breadth. Who is she? Why is she so friendly with Lisette? I don't like it. This is mine. Can this woman just die? Okay. It sounds like she knows me too. I see. I remember Lisette caught someone that way. Yes, I remember. That's Canxue who... No, our friend. The great ones through me. I can't believe I harbored such dark feelings about Canxue. I even wish for her death. But me still in the arms of Lisette blitzes past Canxue and flies off. Looking behind, I see Canxue fire more red lasers to fend off the pursuing tentacles while she falls back with us. That's when it happens. As a border horse passed us, launched from the moon surface, something else impacts Rita's eye directly from behind. Last driver catapults are used to propel weasels from the moon to Earth's orbit. The titanium aluminum and iron collected from the moon's atomic mines is loaded into augmented pallets, which are then launched from each mine via railgun. Saved by the force in excess of 10 Gs, the cargo breaks free of the moon's gravity and flies through space at 1.24 miles per second until it's caught by the net in Earth's orbit. Each of the 15 mines starts in the moon's surface delivers hundreds of tons of resources to the orbital bases from factories around Earth. These resources are crucial for the environment within space. By changing the fire and angles, every society they can instead fire payloads to Rita's eye. These cruise by massive projectiles that cause more damage than any laser or ordnance can. Rita's eye stops pursuing us, instead turning its gaze towards the moon surface. Just as the enemy looks down, red flashes of smoke begin to rise from the two cities, which are crumbling under the gravitational pull of the gigantic enemy's mass. Reactor hurls guided by Minkai's powers are launched from close range directly into the enemy's eye. As is this, there's no possible way it can possibly avoid. Sound doesn't travel to Reckon, but I'm sure that the splash would otherwise be deafening. Blasting specks of the reactor's warheads express a sprout from the surface of the downturn eye. When its eye massive form shakes ever so slightly, it crashes to the moon's surface, sinking into the lunar soil. The operation was complete sex. Minkai has won. I think so anyway. For some reason I can't feel any excitement. Correct, the operation was successful when its eye is still active. The monitor is filled with camera feeds on the image identity form. At first it looks like it's completely still, but then... It's hardly visible from a distance, but it seems to be trying to push itself away from the moon. A magnified view of the enemies makes the situation clear. With the two cities crushed beneath its weight, its eye is now attempting to lift the ship off the massive crater it's far created.
やるな。さすがは僕の前に現れた最大の敵。
Sure he hasn't escaped unscathed, but simply voiced and true and innocent. But the fact is, extreme after all that means it might as well be invincible. The UFA has no more cards to play. If one's eye were to descend upon the earth, it would be catastrophic. It would bring about massacre dolphin what it did to Mars and the moon. Why enough, the realization doesn't stir any emotion to me. To me, that knowledge simply seems like a cold-hearted fact. Yes, it would be a terrible thing for the species of mankind several, but my mind remains indifferent, as if asking, so what? So part of me is terrified of that infinite. By now, Raiden's eye floats completely above the windshield as it begins moving once more. What's the enemy's course? To answer Commander Kenneth's question, a projector of Raiden's eye predicted course is brought up in the center of HQ.
月面の都市や鉱山の位置を重ねて表示できます？
Raiden's eyes move towards one of the mines.
マスドライバーを潰すつもりですわ。15箇所すべてを潰すまで時間の猶予がありますわね。
That little wants are desperate to live on. Wait, what is this? Why do I feel like this whole affair has nothing?
だからさ、あの程度でも嫌がってるんだからさ、あんなに小さな石の塊じゃなくてもっとでかいのぶつけりゃよかったんだよ。
When I look at Lisette though, I simply think that she's dash and silly and haphazard. She's the same Lisette I've always loved.
ですから無理だと言っているんですわ。
無理じゃない。やればできる。諦めたらそこで試合終了だよ。プッシュプッシュ。考える前に動くんだ。
Well, no matter what, Lisette never changes. That's what's so good
あ
about.
れにぶつけて効果があるような手頃な小天体でもあれば別ですけど、そんな危険なものは航路局が全部除去してしまってますわ。
ある。
Lisette points at the projection of the center of HQ.
こいつをやつにぶつけてやるんだ。
アホですよ。
アホじゃない。僕はヒーローだ。
Lisette's so cool. We don't have any orders from the high ups, and I have independent authority over you. The plural, I assume I'm responsible for anything you do. If you can't do it, no one can.
やった。
What's it again? I was sick in a bed of a cold when Lisette came over to the place. She said we should go outside and have some fun. My mother told her I was sick. Lisette just
風
said,
邪じゃしょうがないね。じゃあ頑張って直して。ファイト。
and then she left, leaving me behind. Tired and weak, I watched her from my window as she left. Lisette looked so much more free and better than she did when she was with me. It was like the was on her back that could carry her whenever she wanted. She ran out to play with someone else, someone who wasn't me. But whoever that was, they probably had the strength to keep up with Lisette. Maybe she won't invite me next time. That thought made me feel miserable. Lisette, I'm scared. Too free, might leave me behind.
んじゃ、ちょっくら行って地球を救ってくる。
まったく、こんなの作戦でも何でもありませんわ。
僕を信じろ。
I see them off in the dark port, dressed not in my magical core outfit, but a mere spacesuit. After being rescued from Raiden's eye, I found I can't transform anymore.
気をつけてね。大丈夫。キルケの分までやっちゃうから。
キルケ、あなたの彼女の背中は私がちゃんと守りますわ。だからそれだけは安心してくださいな。
Shoot, she's more tired than I am. Says leave him before. No, I don't want that. No, she's being considerate of me. She knows how I feel. So, no, I don't want this.
また後で。
Lisette beams at me.
あ
And with that shout, she throws her body out of space. Canxue follows after her. Her figure soon disappeared from sight. Yet, though I can't see them, I can still hear their
どう
voices.
やるんですの、あんなの。
そりゃ押してぶつけるんだってば。
リゼット、あなたって本当にバカですわね。乗りかかった船ですからやりますけど。
ということで、ちょっと時間稼ぎしてて。
Two of them bent her like a couple. No, I already know. They've always been like that. It's just like before. I used to be there too. Now I'm not. It's just Lisette. It's Canxue. The fact makes me feel so hurt and jealous. Everyone knows what happens next. First, Canxue shot down a CC patrol flyer, the one that tends to win his eye. That distraction, Lisette flew to the opposite side of the moon, treating her in its eye. She then became just immune to moon. It sounds so simple when I put it into words, but the truth is that even I'm not sure what happened then. It's classified mentally intro, I can't find any record of it. But while it was happening, I got to everything.
変身光の巨人シュワッチ
Later, Lisette told me her version of the
大
story.
きいものを動かすなら自分も大きいものになっちゃえってだけ
That's all she had to say about it. The written records, I'm allowed access to claim that Lisette's body burst forth with a gigantic oil of light, manifesting a larger version of herself that she used to move the moon. I can't imagine Lisette trying to put any more thought to the act when she told me about it. The moon began to move slowly first, picking up a speed layer by layer away inside, which had been floating away from its in preparation to crush the mine's mass rival catapults, found its socket rushing up to me instead. His I tried to escape, but Lisette simply pressed on, driving the moon towards the enemy even more quickly. In fact, the moon gets the enemy smashed into bits, completely destroying it. Even after that, Lisette continued to accelerate. By the time the moon had gained enough velocity to escape Earth's orbit, in other words, Earth would ultimately lose the moon as a satellite, but that was something we wouldn't find out much later.
あのバカ本当にやりましたわバカっていう人の方がバカなんだいってやった
屋上から落としたトマトみたいに潰れましたわ。
よっしゃー
それからもう加速は結構ですわ。私の故郷が飛んでいってしまいますから。
オッケ
I can hear them talking to each other. Just chilling all around the base, mankind rejoices, they say, and the hero is born, they say. I remain silent, without Lisette by my side, none else matters anymore. I could have been part of that conversation. I could have if it had just been me out there. But I'm not with them right now. I can't bring myself to act. 3 hours later, Lisette and Canxue return. The docking port is full of layer ones, I mean humans. Everyone's waiting for the two heroes, especially Lisette, to return. A few meteor ships that were still in space formed to record return to the station. I'm not part of that. The only one left out. Lisette is the first to come and from the airlock. Canxue comes in a moment after all. Two of them look lovely standing next to each other. Canxue chose to occupy that spot by Lisette's side far more than I do. Lisette looks around frantically trying to find me. Yet I still don't step forward. She finally catches sight of me, shout me out to Lisette. Now that she sees me, Lisette smiles. Yeah, I still can't take that step forward. Just then, I feel a tap on my shoulder. Started, I jumped to look at my commanding answer standing there. Go on, they're looking for you. You are a proud and brave man with the special welfare troopers. I can't fly anymore, maybe I'll never fly again. Yeah, she says that I'm part of the team. But for now, I try to suppress the anxiety looking in my heart and take that step forward to join them. Overture by Dawn of the Special Warfare Troopers. Okay. First of all, I hope there's a sequel to that because that was probably one of the worst endings I've ever had. Okay, so the ending about them saving humanity was fine. It was a stupid idea using the moon, but it worked. That was okay. But how sad. I've never played a game where it ended, everything ended so perfectly, but I feel so sad about it. Like, Circe lost her powers, that is true, but still, like, she just makes it seem like I could kind of understand it, but I don't think it was a good move. I would have been happy just seeing them, or maybe what they could have done, which I thought they were going to do, was make it a will, because when they got their powers originally, they were in so much pain, and they will have such a traumatic experience. And I thought maybe having such an experience like that with emotionally would have snapped her back. And it's possible that the moon, they could have scrapped out the moon and be like, that's the plan that could have worked. But Circe being so miserable emotionally could have snapped and reached this new form of magical girl. You know, like had this new power that was just far stronger and be the first one to obtain it. And be able to defeat Radiant's Eye itself and make it real that plan that Lisette had would have backfired. Maybe it didn't work, or maybe the eye got hold of them quickly. I just don't like the way the ending was. It just seems so upsetting, even though it was supposed to be such a happy moment. Like, to be continued. Okay, you are going to continue it. You better continue it. That was a terrible ending. Okay, you better continue it, because that ending ticked me off. The other thing is though, is how they're gonna continue it. I mean, I guess the aliens are probably already defeated, so you could kind of go like maybe they lived on Earth and they have their own company. And then except Circe maybe is a secretary and she hinders all that stuff. She doesn't really do the whole magical girl stuff. And maybe Lisette and Canxue do that stuff. Same as to help people. Because they didn't talk about that, and maybe that would lead up to it. Maybe they go on Earth and actually get a agency like that, and they want Circe to be part of it. But maybe Circe's upset because she's only seen as a secretary. Maybe something happens that causes her to get her powers back. And she can actually help. So, I will give it a pass because it's going to be to continued. It's a to be continued. I'm going to give it a pass because of that reason. If it didn't say that, I wouldn't. Because everything else about the game was good except that ending. It was supposed to be a good ending, but it ended in such a sad note, which what ticks me off. They could have done that so much better, but they didn't. So, but like I said, to be continued. So I'll give it a pass and we'll see about the sequel. And see, it's also possible that. Okay, so this is to say. Theory, but this game is free, okay? This is a free game. You know, you can download this, not cost anything. What if it was more seen like a demo? It says to be continued, so maybe they make more and then make it a full, like a $10 or $20 game that goes on after that. Like you still got that 2.5 or 3 hour experience, but then you get the rest of the experience. You know what I mean? Or they could just make another one that actually continues it. But I want to see what happens next, and it might be a few months before we get something like that. But I think for this game being like it is, the ending was probably ticked me off the most because the ending just felt so sad, even though it was probably supposed to be the most happiest thing. Everybody was happy, everybody was chill, but because of Circe, you hear her thoughts and everything, and it just feels so sad the entire time. And I couldn't feel happy about it. Like, I just couldn't. I'm supposed to be happy about it. Like, humankind is saved, they defeated the aliens, you know, like, everybody should be happy, but then you just got Circe being super depressed and it's just like not happy. I don't really know why she's like that, because she didn't seem like that type of person. She did get like hit by an alien or whatnot and get her powers taken away, but from what the game was telling me, they didn't have the powers for very long. A month maybe at most. And I don't even think about it, it's probably like a week. So like, you kind of lived like probably 20 years of your life without powers. You don't really need them, like, you know, like, you didn't really need it before, but now you do. Like, it's just a lot of things. Like, I feel like how Circe was acting was not her personality. She didn't seem like she was also. It was also weird because she was also really one-dimensional. Because at least with Canxue, it's more the smart one, strategic, you know. And Lisette's more energetic and rushing forward, you know. But she's not completely dumb. And then you got Circe, which is kind of like she barely talks either. Like there were times for first like 30 minutes, I didn't even know she talked. And try, you know, like you didn't even know what she looks like unless you go to the voice scene and actually see her. And you only see her face and a little bit of like her neck. You don't even see her full body. So, but I think seeing her depressed like that, it is too awkward. Like, from what I know, she didn't really seem like that kind of person from what I've seen anyway. She never showed any signs of depression at all. Like at all, in the slightest. You know, most of the time she just thinks what's going on in her head, and she doesn't seem depressed. And then you get there and it's just like completely depressed. Like, it's just so awkward. You know, it was like... The novel was good, okay? I would say the novel was good. The ending was not. But like I said, it's just to be continued. So it definitely did end there. They might continue it more. And maybe we'll see... Maybe they'll make Circe more of a character. And actually make her, you know, have more personality. So... But I will play the next one. The ending sucked, but I will play the next one and see if whenever that comes out, and see what happens after this, and maybe it will be rectified. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe Circe comes to terms with something. I don't know. Maybe it's more. Maybe the second one's gonna be more about who. Versus, because the second one, this one didn't really feel about her. Like, she was the main character, but on reality, she definitely was kind of like, you could have made her pretty much absent, and the story wouldn't have changed. So maybe the second one will be more about her, and maybe they'll do a good one with a trilogy thing. Maybe do like a trilogy. I really don't know where they can go from here. The only thing I can think is about that agency form they talked about, because they talked about it, and that would be perfect. So only I can think is maybe they do some kind of agency form, agency thing with magical girls, because they said everybody on Earth knows about them. They just don't know what they look like outside of their uniforms, I think it was. So they could carry on with that, because. And make it on Earth, maybe. And then it'd be a weirder one too, though, because this first game is all set in space, pretty much. And then you actually get it, or maybe they don't do it on Earth. Maybe they do it on Mars. Or maybe they fix the moon. Or maybe I really don't know, because it'd be weird to make this the next one like 2 years later, because it feels like what Circe was feeling in this part of the game at the end. Wouldn't feel right if she's still feeling that 2 years later. So I don't know, but I feel like the agency thing form, whatever you call it, the late business you want to do, I think that would probably be best bet. So anyway, I've talked long enough though. I guess that'll be it, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. So have a good one, and bye bye.